Very warm and pleasant good morning to all of you. Learning is a kind of continuous process, and there is no shortcut for learning. To add value to these updations, sharing of knowledge is a key component of learning process. Today, we all gathered here in online platform due to the pandemic situations to learn, update, and share the knowledge in the area of vaccines. Vaccine is one of the most important topic to learn, discuss, and debate in the present scenario. So, before to begin, it's my duty to go for welcome address. Myself, Dr. R. J. Ram, working as professor and HOD, Department of Pharmacology, and the coordinator of Institution Innovation Council, would like to welcome Professor Anna Balaji and convener of this national webinar and various department HODs, distinguished faculty members, and participants from various institutions, and my dear young dynamic students of Sri Vidya Niketans. A very warm and pleasant welcome to all of you. To proceed the session, with us, we have the renowned, versatile personality in the field of biotechnology, Dr. P. Vasantraj. We welcome you, sir. We welcome floral virtually rather than oral welcomes. So, with this, now I welcome Dr. Anna Balaji, convener, to deliver his valuable opening remarks. Anna Balaji, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Jeraman. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you're audible, sir.
Thank you. Good morning to one and all. At the outset, I would like to thank our Honorable Chairman, Dr. Manchu Mohan Babu Garu, and our revered CEO, Mr. Vishnuvardhan Babu Garu, and all the senior functionaries of Sri Vidya Niketan Education Trust for their constant support and for providing all the infrastructure and giving all the necessary permissions for the easy and smooth conduct of this program. And in today's webinar, the resource person is Dr. P. Vasantraj, Assistant Professor, Department of Pharmaceutical Biotechnology, JSS College of Pharmacy, Ooty. Sir, welcome to this webinar, and I thank you very much for accepting the invitation and spending your valuable time with us and sharing your knowledge with all the audience today. Your audience will be our faculty, pharmacy. Yeah, thank you, sir. Pharmacy students and faculty from different colleges and various pharmacy students from different colleges. So I heartily welcome you to this program, and I congratulate the institution's innovation cell who is organizing this program in association with the Department of Pharmacology, especially the organizing secretary, Dr. Jayaraman, who is a very active person, a very good researcher and a very good publisher, publishes a lot of papers and always keeps himself and his department very active. And I also congratulate the coordinator, Mr. P. Sudhir Kumar, another promising young man in our institution, who is always active and very helpful to the colleagues.
Ten years complete minimum activities.
Can you mute everybody, sir, if you don't mind? Am I audible, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, coming to today's topic, vaccine technology and manufacturing in India, which is the most relevant topic of the day. The development of vaccines to protect against viral disease is one of the hallmarks of modern medicine. The first vaccine was produced by Edward Jenner, as we all know, in 1796, in an attempt to provide protection against smallpox. From there, the journey of vaccine started. India is the world leader in vaccine manufacturing. Indian pharmaceutical companies supply more than 50% of global demand for different vaccines needed for global immunization problems. The major vaccine manufacturers in India are Serum Institute of India, the Pune-based company, Bharat Biotech, which is based in Hyderabad, Sanofi Shanta Biotech, Zydus Cadila, Panacea Biotech, Indian Immunologicals, Minvax, Hester Biosciences, and Biological E are amongst the domestic pharma companies working on the corona vaccines in India at present. Pune-based Serum Institute of India makes vaccines for measles, mumps, rubella, tetanus, diphtheria, hepatitis B, and many other diseases. It also specializes in generic versions and exports to more than 170 countries. And it is estimated that 2/3 of the world's children are inoculated with its vaccines. An estimated of 1.5 billion vaccines doses annually are exported from India by this company at affordable prices. It is estimated that 65% of the children of the world receive at least one vaccine manufactured by our Indian company, Serum Institute of India. Another major Indian vaccine producer is the Hyderabad-based Bharat Biotech, which produces India's domestically developed Covaxin COVID vaccine. The company owns about 145 patents and produces hepatitis B vaccine, rotavirus vaccine, and typhoid vaccines, and is also in the process of developing vaccines for viral diseases like chikungunya and Zika. Cumulatively, India vaccine manufacturers have an installed capacity of 8.2 billion doses for different vaccines per year. Indian drug makers are often able to produce essential medicines at very cheap prices, but still very effective, very efficacious. In 2001, Indian pharmaceutical company Cipla was able to offer AIDS medication to African countries for a fraction of the price charged in countries like the United States. Serum Institute of India developed a vaccine for meningitis, which was made cheaply and distributed across Africa. As a result, more than 152 million people received this vaccine by the end of 2013, helping them to break the cycle of meningitis epidemics in 26 countries. A typical vaccine manufacturing plant requires about 9,000 different materials, which are sourced from 300 different suppliers across about some 30 different countries. So it is a very huge task for a vaccine manufacturing company to put together these 9,000 materials from 300 companies from 30 different countries and create a vaccine and sell it to the public. The most significant material that are required for the manufacture of vaccines include the bioreactor bags, sterile filters, cell culture media, which is a specialized cell culture media, not the regular ones which we use in our labs, buffers and reagents, lipid nanoparticles, microcarriers and microcarrier beads, thimerosal, which is used as a preservative, beta-propionate, which is used for inactivating the viruses, nucleic acids, amino acids, and acyclic amides, lecithins, and sterols. Equipments are also specialized, mostly sourced from European countries, and these include single-used bioreactor systems, disposable bags for the cell cultures, and also the fermenters are required for the manufacture of vaccines. The process of vaccine manufacture is governed by complex regulatory processes, which is coming under the aegis of Central Drugs Standard Control Organization, which in turn is under the Director General of Health Services, that is Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Government of India. So, though we are the leaders of vaccine manufacturers and the pharmacy, we are known as India is known as the pharmacy of the world. Still, there are a few challenges, and we are slow in the race against the preparation of a corona vaccine. And but the good news is that by the end of September, October, we, or maybe by a little bit, 1 month plus or minus, we will be able to cater around 220 crores doses of corona vaccine, only corona vaccine, by these various Indian companies, in which the major contributor will be 75, will be around 75,000 crores of vaccine doses for by Serum Institute, and 50 crores doses by Bharat Biotech, and the rest of the doses is made available by different other companies. So the fight, we are trying to win the fight against the coronavirus by creating more vaccines and seeing that all the public are vaccinated. We are also exporting, although right now we have exported to more than 70 countries the vaccines we have prepared, and still we will be able to again cater to the requirements of the world market as at least by the end of the 2021. With these few words, I once again thank today's resource person, Dr. P. Vasantraj Garu, for accepting our invitation and delivering this lecture on vaccine technology and manufacturing in India. Thank you very much, sir. Over to
Thank you,
Jairam.
sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your valuable opening remarks.
Sir, you are not
and
audible.
informations. Audible, sir, no? Am I audible now, sir?
No,
Sir, audible only, sir.
Sir, it's audible only, sir.
audible, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your kind information and valuable opening remarks. Now it's time to introduce the speaker. For that, I request Mrs. Purnima, Assistant Professor and HOD, Department of Pharmaceutical Analysis, and the member of Institution Innovation Council, to propose to introduce the speaker to the audience. Welcome, madam.
Thank you, sir. Good morning to all. Myself, Dr. B. Purnima, working as Assistant Professor in Department of Pharmaceutical Analysis. It gives me an immense pleasure to introduce our guest of honor and speaker, Dr. B. Vasantraj, Assistant Professor, JSS College of Pharmacy, OT. Dr. P. Vasant was a Fellow of Higher Education Academic Teaching from Queen's University, Belfast, United Kingdom. Sir has acquired Doctor of Philosophy from Manipal College of Pharmaceutical Sciences, Manipal University. Sir completed his post-graduation in Pharmaceutical Biotechnology from JSS OT. He has worked as Assistant Professor in various eminent organizations, Manipal University, Manipal, India, and AIMST University, Malaysia. He was a faculty in Queen's University, Belfast, UK, and Queen's China campus in China Medical University. Sir was former principal research officer in Sri Ramakrishna Hospital, Coimbatore, India. He has received 7 research grants from AICTE India and FRGS KPT Malaysia. Sir has published 34 papers and research and presented 17 conferences and invited presentations, 10 presentations in India and 7 presentations from abroad. Dr. Vasantraj received excellence in teaching by a team from the International Campus, China Queen's College, and Best Academic Teaching Team Award from Queen's University of Belfast, United Kingdom, and also received the Most Popular Teachers Award from China Medical University. It is with deep pride and humility that I introduce the keynote speaker of today's webinar, Dr. P. Vasantraj, to share his expert opinion on vaccine technology and manufacturing in India. A warm and hearty welcome to you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, madam. Thank you. And
Thank
it's
you,
time
sir.
to move on to the sessions. So now I request Dr. P. Vasantraj to proceed for the session. Sir, the session is yours. You can proceed.
Thank you, sir. Do I have the permission to share the screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. You can share your screen.
Okay.
continue with this. So first part I mentioned about the immunization program of our country, which is called as Universal Immunization Program. Although the name is Universal Immunization Program, this is a program at a national level. And these are the vaccines which we cover for the National Immunization Program. And I said that we will introduce some of the biological companies in our country for the benefit of the students. So I'll start with my place in Ooty. So here we have an institute which is called as Pasteur Institute of India, which is one of the oldest manufacturing unit of vaccines. And it is for more than 100 years old, which is very famous for preparing diphtheria, tetanus, toxoid preparations, and also rabies vaccines. And right now, the Pasteur Institute is going for a renovation into a larger plant. And they also have asked for a permission to manufacture Covaxin, which is not yet approved. But once they get the approval, then Pasteur Institute in Kunnur in Ooty, Nilagiri district will be able to produce vaccines at a larger scale. The second one which I wanted to introduce is called as the Human Biologicals or Indian Immunologicals. This particular vaccine manufacturing unit is having a head office in Hyderabad, and also it is having a manufacturing plant in Ooty. This is also one of the very prestigious vaccine manufacturing unit in our country, and they have produced vaccines for anti-rabies, and they are the one of the first biological company to produce vaccine using cell culture technology. Before that, they were using animals for rabies vaccine, but this is the first company which is able to produce vaccines in Asian whole continent, a second manufacturing unit to produce vaccines using cell culture technology. And even now, they are one of the largest distributors of rabies vaccine for more than 50 countries throughout the world. And Indian Immunologicals and Human Immunologicals, they divide into two categories. One category for veterinary vaccines, for animal vaccines, and another category for human vaccines. That's why they have the name Human Biologicals and Immunologicals. And the head office is in Hyderabad, and also they have an office in New Zealand, and an abroad vaccine manufacturing unit, which they have in collaboration with a manufacturer of biologicals in New Zealand. So this biological company is also very, very famous. So this will be a very good point for the students from your place, because you are all from Andhra. So probably you will be able to travel to Hyderabad, Telangana. So that shouldn't be a problem. So if you are interested in biologicals and vaccine manufacturing, then Indian Immunologicals will be a very good company to start with. Is in your own state. Of course, Andhra Pradesh and Telangana has very good number of biological manufacturing companies, and also, of course, pharmaceutical companies for chemical drugs, right? But that's not the aim of my today's talk. I talk is more towards biologicals. Okay, the next one is called as an HLL Biotech. So HLL Biotech is an initiative from the government of India to open a plant in Chennai, and this plant is one of the biggest plant which can manufacture vaccines. So this is called as a vaccine manufacturing complex. So they have the facility to manufacture rabies vaccine, hepatitis B vaccine, measles, BCG vaccines, pentavalent vaccines. And this unit is not yet functional. And again, they are asking for technology transfer from Bharat Biotech to produce the Covaxin. And once it is approved, then HLL Biotech will be one of the biggest manufacturing unit in South India. Again, this is a very good scope for you people of any of your students who are interested in biologicals, because it is quite nearby to your place, near to Chennai. So it shouldn't be a problem, and for your transport or nearby to your home city or nearby to your state, Telangana or Andhra Pradesh. So it is quite convenient for you to work in biologicals in this area. The next one which I wanted to share is in Chennai, which is called as the King's Institute. They do not manufacture vaccines now, but the reason why I wanted to put this is that they are one of the India's oldest famous institute of virology, and during the time of pox virus, the whole pox vaccine manufacturing unit and distribution took place from King's Institute in Chennai, in Guindy. So in that way, this institute is much more older to that of Pasteur Institute, and it is very famous institute for smallpox vaccine distribution throughout our country. And this is also considered as an heritage institute by our Indian Archaeological Society, and it is also certified by the World Health Organization as a center for yellow fever vaccine certificate to be issued only from King's Institute. But right now they do not have any production unit, but they do have a very good clinical facility to support patients. But it is one of the prestigious heritage structure which we have in our country. So other than that, we do have Bharat Biotech, as our respected principal has mentioned in his initial talk. So Bharat Biotech is very successful in Hyderabad, and also with respect to our COVID vaccines, which you are already aware. And we have a company called as Biological E. They have plants in Andhra Pradesh, different areas, and this is also a very successful unit. I'm just touching upon the few important ones. Ranbaxy C, they do have a plant in Bangalore. Serum Institute of India, again, as your convener mentioned, this is one of the largest manufacturing unit in the whole world. They have the biggest manufacturing facility for the whole world, and among 3 in 1 children will definitely receive a vaccine from one which is manufactured from Serum Institute. So that is their success rate. So that much of quantity they have. They have a large quantity of vaccine manufacturing unit. So that is the reason even the Western world, like Oxford derived Covishield, which comes for a collaboration with Serum Institute, because we have that much of experience and of manufacturing vaccines for a quite long time. It is not a new thing for us. We have been manufacturing vaccines for a pretty long time on hepatitis vaccines or all the different types of vaccines which is highlighted in this slide. And Serum Institute is one of the pioneers in the world, and we can be really proud of what they are doing. And Santa Biotech, again in Hyderabad, Rangareddy district. So again, this is a very famous institute where they produce vaccines in larger scale in our country, and it is again one of the successful biological manufacturing, vaccine manufacturing company in our country. We do have other companies like Sanofi Pasteur Institute in Pasteur India, Sanofi, and JSK, Cadila Pharmaceuticals, and what I missed out is probably Panacea Biotech in the north. These are some of the major players of vaccine manufacturing facility in our country, where we are very successful in manufacturing vaccines for quite long time. So it is not something new for us, that what the challenge which we are facing, and definitely our manufacturing unit will be able to do that. Probably some of the technical hurdles or the technology transfer. See, for example, the technology which is developed by AstraZeneca or which is used by Serum Institute for the transfer of the process technology to some other manufacturing biological institute in India, or the technology of the Bharat Biotech for giving a technology transfer to some other manufacturing unit. So there are some technical delay and documentation delay. That's the reason our production capacity is not able to be expanded to a larger scale. But in the next 3 months to 4 months, once there are few manufacturing who have signed some agreements with Bharat Biotech for large scale production of Covaxin. So we will be able to have a good amount of supply to demand ratio will be able to reach, and then we will be able to vaccinate our whole country in the coming months most positively. So what I mean to say, we already have the facility with us. So I wanted to put a positive message to all the young people, all the young students out there, that even though the challenge is very high, our country, this is not a new challenge for us. We have been faced with some challenges like this. So we have the ability to handle this. Our health sector is also having the ability to handle this. Our doctors and nurses, I mean to say, even though our facilities are not up to the standard of the Western world, we have faced such kind of an pandemic problems in the earlier cases, and we have done this. So for that positive note, I put two of an examples. The first example is about smallpox, and the second example is about polio. Okay, so the first example maybe happened even before 1980, where some of the young individuals would not be born, and those who are senior people will be knowing about this. So this just a minute. Yeah. This program is launched by the World Health Organization for the effective control of smallpox and effective control of polio. And we can very proudly say, if you can name any disease which we are able to completely eradicate from this earth, it's not only India, it's throughout all the continents of this world. If we are able to eradicate a disease, the best example will be smallpox. The smallpox is a viral disease, and it is a very, very deadly disease. The mortality rate is really very high. Even if someone survives, the whole face will be deformed, and the survival becomes very, very challenging. So it's such a deadly disease caused by the pox virus. And the World Health Organization had a very, very strong program to vaccinate individuals, all the children around the world. And they initially thought it will be very challenging for a country like India way back in 1970s. But still, at that time, there was less technology, there were less road transport systems. But even then, our healthcare system and our public health system was able to make this program one of the most successful programs of smallpox vaccination in our country. In that only, the King's Institute played a very important role in the supply of smallpox vaccine throughout our country, and it was used for immunizing all the Indians in the 1970s. And later on, the World Health Organization also had a very close monitoring of the vaccination program of smallpox. And it was initially eradicated from the Western world, and later it was eradicated from the Asian continent, slowly, step by step, under the African continents. And in the year of 1977 was the last reported case of smallpox in Somali. And other than that, after 1978, there was not a single case of smallpox which is reported in the world. So the WHO waited for 2 years' time, and after 1980, in the month of May, the WHO declared that the smallpox is the first disease in the history of humans to have been completely eradicated from this earth. So this is a biggest success model for the medical department, whether it is a doctor or a nursing or a paramedical staff or a pharmacist or a healthcare worker or a public health worker, because this is a complete teamwork where the vaccine has to reach each and individual villages, and every individual has to be vaccinated. Of course, there are some positive points, advantages for smallpox, like of vaccination. I mean to say, the number of variants were not there, and the temperature control processes were quite easy for the healthcare worker to monitor. So we do had such kind of advantages. But still, this can be taken as a very proud achievement of the human race, the proud achievement of the WHO, and also it is a very high achievement of the Indian healthcare system. Way back in 1970s, we were able to do this. So again, coming into the current situation, we will be able to overcome this kind of an viral challenge. And to some of the interesting facts for the student point of view, I like to give you some thought process into this. Okay, so now the smallpox virus has been removed from the whole earth. Okay, but after that, when the WHO was doing a follow-up on all the labs which are manufacturing the pox virus, they were having samples of the virus, correct? So those samples of the virus has to be eradicated. So they asked the centers which are having smallpox virus to slowly eradicate it step by step. But there were a lot of debate on this, on what to do with the virus. Should we keep the virus or should we not keep the virus? So there were a lot of deliberations between the advanced countries, and then finally they decided they will have two samples of this virus, one sample in United States and the second sample in Russia. So in United States, in the Center of Disease Control and Prevention, which is called as CDC, they do have a highly controlled system of a viral lab, and in this viral lab they do have a strain of a smallpox virus repositories which is maintained in United States, and a second repository is maintained in a vector lab in Russia. The name of the lab is called as a vector lab, which stands for the State Research Center of Virology and Biotechnology. So they have the virus till now. Okay, so now it is quite a debatable question. When the diseases has been removed, then why you should have the virus? So the scientific community have two different opinion on this. The first opinion is that you should have the virus because we never know what will be the new kind of diseases which are coming up, or if there is some kind of a biological warfare which is coming up, then we should have this viral stocks with us so that we will be able to manufacture new set of vaccines according to the current demand of any kind of a new outbreak, suppose if it happens. And also some of the advanced countries say they need to have this for their defense unit. For example, United States, they do have some of the smallpox based vaccines has been administered to their defense staffs as a precaution, that if there is a biological warfare which can happen, which should not happen, but if that happens in the future, then they want their frontline defense staffs to be saved. So they wanted to have these viral stocks with them. So you know about the Cold War. So it looks like there is a precautionary Cold War situation where you have eradicated the disease, but still you have the virus stocks with some of the places, some of the countries like United States and the Russian countries, so that to compact if any future outbreaks happen because of some of the pox virus families. We never know. The second example which I wanted to say is about polio. Regarding polio, again, the second program from the World Health Organization, which is one of the most successful program where we are able to eradicate polio from our country. So this is a second successful model where we have proved vaccination for a huge population like India, for a huge population like China is possible. And the polio vaccination is a success in our present generation, where you would have seen it personally, or to our children in our family. We would have taken our children to the nearby health center. We can take them to the nearby railway station. We can take them to the nearby bus stand where there will be a healthcare provider who will be able to administer an oral polio drops to our children below 5 years of age. So this program is one of the most successful program in our country, which we have demonstrated from 1980s to 1990s. And even in 2000 and 2004, we were able to completely eradicate polio from our country. So this is a second successful model, again against a virus called as a polio virus. So both the viral diseases, the help of the World Health Organization is very tremendous. It has to be much appreciated, and also the support of the advanced countries, the financial support, and also the healthcare system and the public healthcare system of our country, which we are able to eradicate some of the biggest challenges which we face for smallpox and the polio vaccination program. The polio vaccination program, our country has completely had a great success, which is highly appreciated by the World Health Organization. Initially, they thought it will be very challenging for a country like India to demonstrate the polio kind of a vaccination for such a huge population, but we were able to do it in a very fantastic way. And this is a great success, which is highly appreciated by World Health Organization. But the World Health Organization has not yet announced the polio as completely eradicated from the world, because there are very 1 or 2 isolated cases which has been reported in our neighboring countries like Pakistan and Bangladesh. So for that reason, the WHO is doing a follow-up for the next 2 to 3 years to find out if there is not a single case of polio being reported, and then followed by smallpox. Polio will be the next disease which to be eradicated from this earth. So these are the 2 great success models which I wanted to share with you. And the point which I wanted to carry to the student community, to the young population, is that we have a very good experience in manufacturing vaccines in our country. We have one of the largest manufacturing units in our country, and we have some of the largest distributors of vaccine throughout the world. And we have personally handled 2 different viral infections in the previous years, and we have come out successfully. So in the present situation, even though it is a very big challenge of facing the COVID-19 SARS-CoV-2 situation, with our manufacturing capacity of biologicals and with our healthcare unit, we will be able to come out of this problem, even though this is quite a very challenging. I'm not saying this is not a challenging issue. It's a very highly challenging problem. But what I'm trying to say is we do have the facilities, we do have the expertise. That's very important, and experience in handling such kind of an viral infections. Okay, so with respect to COVID, I do not want to talk much about COVID, because we have been listening about COVID too many informations for the past 2 years almost, like WhatsApp messages, you name it, Facebook or Instagram or whatever it is. We have lot and discussions of coronavirus, COVID vaccines. So I do not want to spend time on this part, but I just wanted to put a few things here, like the different manufacturers. As you know, in our country, we do have successful vaccination program running up now, and our manufacturing unit has been increasing tremendously. So we will be able to cover the vaccination program for our country in the coming months. And also, we have suppliers being signing agreements from multinational companies, and that's something which is going to come up. And this is the time where new types of vaccines has been approved. For example, like mRNA based vaccines has been approved. So like we are all well aware of the inactivated vaccines or the live attenuated vaccines, but these mRNA based vaccines or the protein subunit based vaccines are getting more approval now. So that is something a new thing. So the whole field of vaccinology or immunization is going to change in the near future, because we will be able to manufacture mRNA based vaccines in the near future because of the success of this kind of a SARS-CoV-19 situation, where the Moderna and the Pfizer are able to come out with a successful RNA based vaccines. So that is going to completely change the whole biological manufacturing unit. And I would like to strongly encourage the students to take up biologicals as your interest. Suppose if you have your interest on biological, so basically we divide the pharmacy, our drugs into like if you want me to put into a broad category, then I would put them into small molecules and larger molecules. So small molecules are chemically synthesized compounds, and larger molecules like monoclonal antibodies or vaccines or protein based vaccines or mRNA based vaccines. So there is a big demand for biologicals. Every pharmaceutical company is investing on biologicals. 40% of the sales of biologicals has been increasing. Biologicals and biosimilars are being manufactured throughout the world, and biologicals are also very successful in treatment of many diseases, starting from cancer, rheumatoid arthritis, vaccination programs, biologicals and diagnosis of monoclonal antibodies has been very tremendous application. So if you like it or not, the biologicals are going to have a larger impact on the pharmaceutical manufacturing unit, and the biologicals are going to play a very important role in clinical setup, and the physicians started using biologicals already. Maybe probably some of the drawbacks or the cost effective, like some of the biologicals are very expensive, but now the prices are coming down. So even though they are expensive, they have a very good success rate, and definitely the sales of biologicals are increasing. So the whole trend of manufacturing and application and clinical application is going towards a biological field. As a young students, you can think of biologicals as your possible area to work on a pharmaceutical industries, because even Indian pharmaceutical industries are now working a lot of investment of biologicals and biosimilar products which are coming up. So this is a very good area where the student community, the young pharmacy students or life science students who are interested in the biologicals and biological products have a very good scope in our country and also in abroad. So I would like to touch upon few things on the protein variants, which that we do having some protein variants which is happening in the spike protein, which I wanted to just leave it to the minds of the young audience. But I just wanted to give an overview, like we do have some variants in the spike protein, which is 1273 in length, and like we do have the variants, like the World Health Organization asked us to name the variants in the Greek alphabets. So we do have variants like alpha variant from the United Kingdom, beta variant from South Africa, gamma variant from the Brazil, and delta variant from the Indian our place, and maybe probably new variants may be coming, not surprised if it comes across. So these mutations happens in the spike protein, and then it does have an impact on the binding of the spike protein to the ACE2 receptors, or how strongly it is going to bind, or can it escape the immune response of our body. So these are some of the questions which is right now going on in this world, and there are a lot of research which is currently going on. This is a rapidly evolving field. It is being changing from time to time, and the information also changes rapidly. So that's the reason, again, I didn't want to go much into these areas. Okay, but one thing what I wanted to leave it to the mind of the students or the young researchers of the pharmacy in your college who may be interested to think of some of these aspects is called the furin cleavage site. Probably some of you are already aware of this site. So you know that there are two subunits which are responsible for in the spike protein for binding to the ACE2 receptor is one of the subunit, and another subunit helps in attachment to the membrane and integration of this virus into the cell. So subunit A and subunit B. So in between these subunits, they do have a cleavaging site, which is called as a furin cleavage site. So this furin cleavage site has a 12 nucleotide length sequence and which codes for 4 amino acids. So this is very interestingly, which people have noted down in the SARS-CoV. This is a unique kind of a sequence which is present in the SARS-CoV-2 and which is not seen in the previous cases of what we saw for the SARS-CoV or the MERS. We didn't have it, but this furin cleavage site is something very unusual, which is present in between the subunits, which contains proline and arginine and alanine amino acids. And most interesting is that it has a doublet of sequence, which is called the CGG, followed by another CGG sequence, which is a very, very unique style of this COVID SARS-2, which is have been found out by this bioinformatics search tools. When people are doing research, they find this kind of an sequence or an cleavage site is very special and unique, and this can be can be possible by either artificial insertion of such a sequence, or very rarely it can be because of any kind of a recombination process, which can be possible, but it is quite a debatable topic. So this is an area where if some of you are interested in kind of a viral research or in biological research, then we can do further research on the role of how these cleavage sites will play a very important role in the binding and also the membrane integration of the virus, and in what way these sites are quite different when compared to that of the previously infected corona type of viruses like the SARS-CoV, which came 10 years back, or the MERS, which came in Saudi Arabia. So the similarity pattern and the differences of these binding sites and the differences of this cleavage site, what could be the possible reasons of this cleavage site with a particular doublet of an amino acid can be studied. So these are some of the thought process for the pharmacologists and molecular pharmacology students, and also those who are interested in biologicals to further explore. So this gives, of course, there are a lot of plenty of research. You can go to Nature Biology or Nature Journal and look into some of the binding aspects of how the subunits attaches to the surface of the ACE2 inhibitor, and the role of the subunit and the role of the cleavage sites has been explored. All right, so these are the things which I wanted to say. So I end my lecture with some of the positive note that our country is already successfully handled 2 different viral infections, and even though our population is huge and even though our challenges are enormous, but still we are quite successful in doing this. And now we have a successful vaccine which is running in our country, either it is Covaxin or Covishield or Sputnik, whatever it is. So vaccines are safe and effective. See, some of the side effects which was reported for the vaccines is a same side effect which is reported for any vaccines which we have been taking for all these years. It's not only for COVID vaccine. So of course the side effects need to be monitored by the pharmacovigilance team, which they are doing, but going with the current trend, we have only this option with us. We have the option of vaccination, we have the option of social distancing, we have the option of a self discipline of wearing masks and maintaining hygienic condition. So that's what we have to do. So vaccines are safe and they save life. So we have to do this. So that's what I wanted to say. And more for any kind of a discussion, if any student will be interested, they can please feel free to send an email to me. And this is my email ID, which I have displayed on the page. I'll be more than happy to associate with you in any possible ways in which, if you are interested in biologicals, we can discuss further on that. So thank you very much once again for Sri Vidya Niketan for giving me this opportunity. I'm very sorry for the initial problem of internet connection, and there was a problem with the power cut, and it was disconnected more than 3 to 4 times, but all the participants really waited during the time when there was an internet problem, and I had to come back every 5 minutes. I'm extremely sorry for that, and I really appreciate you for waiting in between the time where the internet was connected, or my slide was not shared, or my voice was not very clear. Even then, more than 80 to 85 to 90 participants were still waiting. So I really thank you for all this. I wish all the best for the young students who are listening to listen to my talk for the past 1 hour time. I really appreciate your time which you have given for me. Thank you very much, and looking for more interaction. Thanks, Dr. Jairam sir.
Thank you, Dr. Vasantaraj. In spite of your technical issues, we do understand it will happen oftenly, which is unfortunate. And even though in spite of your technical issues, you have clearly mentioned and clearly addressed the manufacturing sites related to vaccines. Actually speaking, you are thrown some source of light in the area of manufacturing sites related to vaccines. So now it's time for questioning sessions. And there are a lot of questions from the student side, and we have chosen some selective questions to address here. So for that, it's my pleasure to welcome Mr. Tamilwanan sir, Assistant Professor and member of Institution Innovation Council, to proceed for the questioning sessions. Sir, please.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, sir.
Morning,
Sir,
sir.
some of our students raised different questions, sir. So I feel honored to ask the questions on behalf of other students. Sir, one of our students, Ms. Shabana, third Form D, she raised the question that which vaccine is best, either Covaxin or Covishield in this pandemic time. Could you please explain, sir?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Dr. Tamilwanan sir, for your kind words. And thanks for the student, Shabana, for your question. I really appreciate. But going with my slide, what I told you during the conclusions, we have three options: Sputnik, Covishield, and Covaxin right now. Probably there are more vaccines which is coming into our country. I do not want to compare them between the vaccines. That's not a good idea to do that. But what I can say with respect to the number of studies which has been done, Covishield has a little more number of patients who have been has been studied in clinical trials. The probable reason for that, it is from a multinational company which is already started from Oxford to AstraZeneca and then came to Serum Institute, right? So they started the clinical trial before to that of the Bharat Biotech, or they're one of the earlier players of this along with the Moderna. So the number of patients who has been screened may be slightly better for Covishield, but I would say whichever vaccine you have access, you should take it. So that will be my advice for you, because going with the current trend, it's not a good idea to compare, because we don't know the long-term memory response of these antibody responses. How long we are not sure. Probably studies has to be still done, because now we are only 2 years after the infection outbreak, right? So as of now, we know that when you take a vaccine, you may be having a protection of maybe 6 months or 1 year or maybe 2 years time. But whether it is for lifelong, no one can give you an answer for that. So the best choice, whichever vaccine you get, you can go for that.
Okay, sir. Okay, thank you for your valuable information, sir. Sir, one more question asked from a student, Mr. Ramkumar, 4th B Farm, sir. Sir, what are all the viral vector system used for the production of vaccine, sir?
Well, so it depends upon the company needs, like what they wanted to do. It's not mandatory that everyone has to have a viral vector. Like some of them are even having the lipopolysaccharide loaded mRNA directly. So if there is a viral vector based, to answer your question, is an adenovirus and an adeno-associated virus can be used as a vector. So that's what the adenovirus has been used by AstraZeneca and Serum Institute, which is an adeno-based viral transfer. So that is only a carrier. It is like only a transport which is going to carry the information which is loaded into the adenovirus. That will not be able to cause any kind of a disease. So both the Sputnik and also the Covishield uses an adenoviral vector.
Okay. So thank you, sir. Sir, one more question, sir. Sir, what is the major difference between the smallpox and the chickenpox epidemiology-wise?
All right, sir, chickenpox is very one of the very lethal infections. Sorry, the smallpox. Chickenpox is a very relative type of a pox family. For example, like the cowpox, the monkeypox, or the chickenpox. But they are relatively not highly infectious rate is slightly low. So many of us would have got chickenpox during our childhood time, and we will take rest for 2 weeks time, and then we can recover naturally. And also we do have a chickenpox vaccine also available, but smallpox is not like that. Smallpox is highly infective compared to that of chickenpox. Is a very deadly viral infection, and the mortality rate is also very severe. So chickenpox is very mild compared to smallpox.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Sir, one more question from our student side, sir. Sir, what will be the impact on the plasma therapy for the current COVID problem, sir?
All right, sir. Plasma therapy, again, it depends on several aspects. It actually, we have to see case by case. That's what I understand. So some of the countries initially started with plasma therapy. They said it is very successful. But again, it depends upon patient to patient. Some of the patient responds well for plasma therapy. Some of the patients do not respond good for plasma therapy. So we have to see by case, number one. And also we have to see by the country policy. See, and that's what I told you. This is a rapidly changing field. See, for example, our ICMR or the Medical Council last year, they gave a try for plasma therapy. But after a few months' time, they said it does not have much of a success rate with respect to a monotherapy kind of an plasma therapy. So they said it don't have much significant impact on the patients. So there is no need to do that. And it is keep on changing. You know what I mean? So initially, some of them were started to using steam inhalation, and there were a lot of demand for steam inhalation. But after 1 month, they said steam inhalation is not good. Please don't do that. So that's what I said. It's a rapidly changing scenario. So plasma therapy can be considered, but not as a monotherapy. And the success rate depends upon patient to patient. Some patients may respond well to plasma therapy. Some patients may not respond.
Okay, sir. That's all about the questions asked from our student side. Anyhow, thank you so much, sir, for a valuable explanation for our questions. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Damayan sir, for raising the questions on behalf of the students. And I thank Vasantaraj, for your enlightening answer for the questions. Now move on to the next. It's time for virtual felicitations. Now I request Dr. Anna Balaji sir, Professor, convener of this national webinar, to propose the virtual felicitation to the rest of them. The principal sir.
I think sir is not audible.
Sorry. Okay. Thank you very much, sir, for your expert talk, and very good information was imparted to all our students and faculty. And definitely, with this knowledge, they will be taking forward by using various resources and improve their knowledge on vaccine technology and manufacturing in India. As a token of our appreciation, kindly accept an e-certificate, a hard copy of which will be posted to you very soon. And as we can see, you are a very big expert from JSS Ooty. In future, I would request the organizing secretary, Dr. Jayaraman, to invite you to our campus.
It's my pleasure, sir.
We have Dr. Tamilwanan and Dr. Varalakshmi, who are biotechnology background. Probably they will also be very greatly benefited along with the rest of the faculty when you visit our campus, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for your kind invitation, sir. It's my honor and pleasure to visit your place. Hopefully, once the COVID situation goes down, I will be very happy to come. And Jairam is my good friend for the past 23 years. He's very close to my heart. So it will be a very good reunion for us.
So your Sutix HOD, Dr.
Gautam, sir.
Gautam Rajan, sir, and Jawahar, sir, and Ganesh, we all were internal external examiners when I came to Ooty few years back. So a very nice hospitality when we come there.
Thank you very much, sir. I will convey the wishes to Gautam, sir. He's my teacher. So I will definitely convey the wishes.
Thank you, sir. We are planning to invite a lot of people post-COVID. So kindly consider our invitation in advance and try to accept it, sir.
So
Thank
kind
you.
of you. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Principal Sir. And
Thank you, sir.
it's time to acknowledge the effort done by the Institutional Innovation Council member. Now, for this, now I invite Mr. Sudhir Kumar Sir, Assistant Professor and coordinator of this national webinar, and to propose a massive vote of thanks to all of you. Sudhir Sir.
Thank you, sir. Am I audible, sir?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. I deem it's a great honor to propose a vote of thanks to all who have helped us in making this webinar such a grand success. On behalf of Institution Innovation Cell and Department of Pharmacology, I extend vote of thanks to honor. It's a honorable chairman, sir, and respected CEO, sir, respected advisor, sir, directors of SVET, respected principal, sir, and also the resource person for sharing your knowledge and opinions today. Thank you, sir, for your wonderful session. I would like to express our profound gratitude to our principal and convener, Dr. Anna Balaji, for his support, and Dr. R. Jayaraman, Professor and HOD of Department of Pharmacology, Organizing Secretary, for his continuous support and suggestions. I would like to thank Dr. B. Poonima and Mr. K. Tamilvanan for their support. I'm happy to express vote of thanks to Institutions Innovation Council members who have helped directly or indirectly and made this event grand success. Last but not least, I express my sincere thanks to the teaching fraternity and students of various institutions for your participation and cooperation. Thank you all. We'll continue the learning.
Thank you, Mr. Sudhir. So thank you all once again to all of you, and we will continue. We'll resume soon to continue our learning platform with some other interesting topic. So stay home and stay happy. Thank you all. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank
Thank
you. Good evening.